I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Friday, August 16th. The man known as the Bad Breath Rapist was sentenced yesterday to up to 20 years in prison for the brutal rape of a restaurant waitress in Quincy nearly 20 years after committing his crime. 55-year-old Toon Kit Lee was sentenced in Norfolk Superior Court after a jury convicted him of charges including aggravated rape and kidnapping for the 2005 assault of a waitress who worked at Kagawa, his family's restaurant. The DA's office asked the judge to sentence Lee to 28 to 30 years in state prison, but a sentence of 18 to 20 years, followed by probation, was handed down. Lee was masked when he held the victim at knife point, zip-tied her to a bed face down, and sexually assaulted her after breaking into her home on February 2, 2005. He left the victim zip-tied to the bed, where she was found several hours later by her boyfriend. Lee then vanished during his rape trial in 2007 and remained on the run for nearly 16 years before he was captured in California in late May after a lengthy manhunt. Although Lee was masked during the assault, the victim recognized his putrid breath, which was attributed to his use of traditional herbal medicines. Officials say he was subsequently dubbed the Bad Breath Rapist by the media. Lee was sentenced to 18 to 20 years in state prison, followed by 5 years probation with conditions. Karen Reed supporters are calling on Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey of Quincy to step down. Dozens protested last night outside of his fundraising event at the Quincy Lodge of Elks on Quarry Street. Morrissey's office is prosecuting Reed, who's accused of killing her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, by hitting him with her SUV. Reed's defense argued that she was framed in a wide-ranging cover-up. A hung jury resulted in a mistrial, and prosecutors have vowed to retry the case. The defense has motioned for 2 charges. The second-degree murder and leaving the scene of a crash resulting in death should be dropped amid claims that jurors were unanimous in rejecting both counts and were only deadlocked on manslaughter. The case's lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, has been suspended by the state police amid an internal investigation. His testimony about the texts he sent while investigating the case raised questions about his credibility. Morrissey's office, where Proctor had been assigned, was forced to send a letter to 13 criminal defense attorneys, notifying them that the suspended trooper had been involved in investigating their cases. Testifying at her trial, Proctor came under fire for texts he sent family, friends, colleagues, and superiors within the state police. Questions of Proctor's credibility could affect more murder cases. Morrissey has been in office since 2010. With his last election in 2022, his term is 4 years. A woman has been indicted on a murder charge in the death of her roommate months after the Weymouth woman was found dead in her home. 44-year-old Kelly Shaw was indicted this month in the murder of Christine Mello. Investigators say Shaw had been staying with Mello at her Lake Street home in Weymouth. Mello was reported missing before her body was found on April 1st. Police initially described the case as an apparent homicide, but no one was immediately charged in her death. Instead, Shaw and another man, 45-year-old John Jack Harper, were accused of theft, including larceny of a motor vehicle and forging checks. Shaw was indicted on first-degree murder charges by a Norfolk County grand jury this month. She pleaded not guilty in court yesterday. Shaw has been in custody since her arrest in April and was ordered held without bail on the murder charge. She's next scheduled to appear in court on September 30th. Harper has not been indicted for the murder. That case remains under investigation. A man was killed, apparently stabbed in the neck, at a home in Plymouth yesterday morning, and his son, who was initially detained as a person of interest in the case, has now been arrested on a murder charge. 73-year-old Anthony Paluzzi was reported unresponsive and bleeding from a laceration to the neck and a 911 call from his wife early yesterday morning. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Paluzzi's cause of death was being investigated. but officials said it appeared preliminarily that he died of a stab wound to the neck, with other injuries possible causes as well. The scene was bloody. A kitchen knife was found nearby. Police announced they were seeking Paluzzi's son, 26-year-old Matthew Paluzzi. As they investigated, the announcement noted that he could be armed and urged the public not to approach him. Matthew Paluzzi was found by police in nearby Hanover at the intersection of Columbia Road and Rockland Street. Yesterday afternoon, Cruz's office says that Paluzzi had been arrested and was due to face a murder charge today in Plymouth District Courts. A young humpback whale continues to be spotted by boaters in Boston Harbor, with video showing the juvenile soaring into the air as it feeds on fish. New video showed the young humpback whale breaching very close to a boat fishing near Spectacle Island, about 1.5 miles from Castle Island in South Boston. The presence of the whale in a corridor busy with boat traffic prompted the T to share a bulletin about its ferry service, that there could be delays. The young whale is believed to be the same one that's been hanging around since late July in the harbor, where they've been seen in the past, but typically depart after just a few days. According to NOAA, large whales can be a safety hazard for recreational boaters and fishermen because they can surface unexpectedly and are hard to detect. As whales feed at the surface and close to shore, chances of encountering one increases. Dove Domestic Violence Ended is offering free legal advice for domestic violence survivors at the Thomas Crane Library in Quincy Center until noon today. An attorney will be available in the first-floor conference room. No appointment is necessary. The Friends of the Ruth Gordon Amphitheater Friends Fridays events continue tonight at 6 p.m. with a free performance by the Danny Gallagher Band. The final free concert of the season will be held tomorrow. The Hancock Adams Common in Quincy Center. The music of the 80s and 90s will be featured from 3 to 8 p.m. Lawn games, entertainers, and food trucks will also be available during the show. The 37th Annual August Moon Festival will be held along Coddington Street in Quincy Center Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The event features performances, food, amusements, and a marketplace. Opening ceremonies begin at noon. The American Red Cross is holding a blood drive today from noon to 5 p.m. at the Norfolk County Sheriff's Department on Washington Street in Braintree. And then again on Monday from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Weymouth Braintree Lodge of Elks on Liberty Street in Braintree. A Quincy Community Blood Drive, sponsored by the Quincy Fire Department and Massachusetts Development Disabilities Council, will be held next Saturday, August 24th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Four River Clubhouse on Nevada Road in Quincy Point. Donors will receive a $20 Amazon gift card by email. Reminder, today is the last day of the free summer meals program in Quincy. Children age 18 and younger may get free lunches from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Parker, Lincoln Hancock, Snug Harbor, and Montclair schools, and at the Ward 2 Community Center. A check of business news this morning. Stocks were higher. The Dow shot up 554. The Nasdaq rose 401. And the S&P added 88. Asian stocks are also higher. The euro is up. Oil at $77 a barrel. In sports, Patriots lose in their second preseason game to the Eagles at Gillette Stadium 14-13 last night. The Orioles beat the Red Sox 5-1. That series continues in Baltimore at 7:05 tonight. Forecast from the National Weather Service today, partly cloudy after some morning fog and a high of 83. For tonight, clearing, low of 62. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, high of 82. Cloudy on Sunday, high 81. Some showers around Monday and a high 77. Out on the water, waves about a foot. Northeast winds at 5 knots become easterly later today. High tide 9:07 a.m. Sunrise 5:52, sets at 7:42. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Friday, August 16th.